The 1970s and 1980s were the golden age of muscle-bound heroes' faces that lit up the screen with fists of steel and smoldering stares. Do you remember Stallone's cold-blooded intensity in Rambo, Van Damme's razor-sharp smile, or Brigitte Nielsen's sculpted perfection? These stars weren't just action icons, they were living legends, the definition of strength and beauty admired around the world. But time spares no one. Have you ever wondered what these once godlike figures look like now? Hit that subscribe button and join us on a trip through time to witness the shocking, sometimes heartbreaking transformations of the stars who once left audiences breathless. Fair warning, reality might blow your mind. Sylvester Stallone, with a muscular physique and piercing eyes. Stallone was once an action icon through the Rocky and Rambo series, grossing hundreds of millions worldwide. Dubbed Hollywood's Muscle Mountain. At 78, his face is distorted due to botched cosmetic procedures. His career has faded, and he now only appears in quiet supporting roles. Brigitte Nielsen. The Danish supermodel with a sculpted figure was once dubbed the Ice Goddess when starring alongside Stallone in Cobra. Now aged, struggling with addiction, and absent from Hollywood after multiple stints in rehab. Chuck Norris. The kickmaster of American action films once dominated in Walker, Texas Ranger, boasting a global fan base and hailed by Time as the toughest man on the planet. However, with age and declining health, he lives a quiet life and is nearly forgotten in the era of CGI superheroes. Linda Hamilton made a strong impression as the resilient Sarah Connor in Terminator 2. Her angular face and determined gaze symbolized female empowerment in the 80s. But beyond the spotlight, Hamilton has nearly vanished from the screen, living alone and battling prolonged mental health issues. Jean-Claude Van Damme. At his peak, he was the 360-degree kick machine with a six-pack, leaving audiences breathless in Bloodsport and Kickboxer. But behind the bright lights lies old age with a haggard face, sparse roles, and a persistent history of addiction. Dolph Lundgren made waves portraying Ivan Drago in Rocky IV, standing at 1.96 with a steely face and an IQ of 160, earning widespread respect. Now he films joint pain medication ads, walks slowly, and is unrecognizable as the former Destroyer. Steven Seagal. In Above the Law, he was praised as a handsome, cool martial artist who once served as a bodyguard for the U.S. government. Currently, with a bloated body and mobility issues, Seagal lives in exile in Russia, shunned by Hollywood due to scandals and arrogance. Raquel Welch caused a global sensation with a fur bikini in 1 million years BC, earning the title of 70s sex symbol. In her later years, her beauty faded, and she lived reclusively, avoiding the media as if escaping her former glory. Michael Dudikoff. With classic American good looks and a cool demeanor in the American Ninja series, he became the national ninja of the 80s. Now, with gray hair and a paunch, he only appears in a few small YouTube interviews reminiscing about his glorious past. Bruce Willis. Once an action icon as John McClane in Die Hard, Willis captivated audiences with his wit and ordinary man doing extraordinary things. Style. But after the spotlight, he had to retire due to a diagnosis of aphasia and dementia, leaving fans regretful. Burt Reynolds. With a charming smile and captivating demeanor, Reynolds became a top star through films like Smokey and the Bandit and The Cannonball Run. However, in his later years, he faced financial difficulties and declining health, living quietly until his death in 2018. Richard Roundtree made a strong impression as John Shaft in Shaft 1971, considered Hollywood's first black action hero. Though he continued acting later, the spotlight never shone as brightly, and he passed away in 2023 at 81 from pancreatic cancer. Sonny Chiba, a Japanese martial arts master. Chiba was famous for powerful action roles and performing his own stunts. Though Quentin Tarantino reintroduced him in Kill Bill, he died in 2021 at 82 due to COVID-19 complications, leaving behind a vast martial arts legacy. Erin Gray. As Colonel Wilma Deering in Buck Rogers in the 25th century, Gray became a small-screen feminist icon. After the limelight, she turned to teaching Tai Chi and lives a simple life away from Hollywood's hustle. Yuen Biao. One of the three dragons alongside Jackie Chan and Sammo Hung, Yuen Biao stood out with acrobatic and skilled martial arts. However, his career didn't soar like his peers, and he now lives quietly, rarely appearing in public. Chang Sheng, a prominent member of the Venom mob in Shaw Brothers' martial arts films. Chang Sheng was beloved for his versatile and humorous acting. Tragically, he died young in 1990 at 35 due to health complications related to an unhealthy lifestyle. Richard Norton, from a rock star bodyguard to action actor. Norton made his mark in Hong Kong martial arts films. Though he didn't achieve global fame, he's still respected in martial arts and action cinema circles. Clint Eastwood, with a steely gaze and few but deadly lines, Eastwood was once Hollywood's unbeatable cowboy, dominating the box office with hits like Dirty Harry and The Good, The Bad, and The Ugly. But now, in his 90s, he appears less and less, walking slowly, his face aged, voice trembling. Only his name remains as a reminder of his golden era. Arnold Schwarzenegger. He was once a muscle machine with a flawless physique, a legend thanks to Terminator, hailed worldwide as the real-life destroyer, both on and off screen. But today, time has etched itself into every wrinkle, his body no longer imposing, and he's more often seen on talk shows than fighting on the big screen. Mel Gibson. With roles in Mad Max and Lethal Weapon, Gibson became a top action star in the 80s. However, personal scandals and controversial statements have affected his image and career in recent years. Carl Weathers. Once amazed audiences with his muscular physique as Apollo Creed Rocky. He was the perfect warrior model. But later, his roles dwindled, and he's now remembered as a cinematic relic in small TV shows. Tanya Roberts caused a stir with her sexy figure in Sheena and A View to a Kill. She was the dream of millions of men in the 80s. But age didn't spare her. She lived alone and died quietly in 2021 after years of being forgotten. Tom Selleck. With his iconic mustache and masculine aura, he was a TV symbol with Magnum P.I. Currently, though still acting, his appearance is no longer captivating, and his name only evokes old memories. Sigourney Weaver. Her cold and strong aura in Aliens made her the queen of sci-fi action films. But over time, she faded in supporting projects, no longer holding the initial allure. Mark Dacascos, handsome, agile, and with top-notch martial arts. Mark was once a rising star with Only the Strong. However, his career quickly faded into obscurity, now only appearing briefly in minor villain roles. Sammo Hung, with a large body but agile movements. Sammo is a legend of Hong Kong martial arts films. Though still directing and producing, declining health has prevented him from maintaining his former glory. Cynthia Rothrock, the Western martial arts queen, famous for lightning-fast kicks in Hong Kong action films, though still present at martial arts fairs and events. Her cinematic spotlight has long since dimmed. Robert Ginty, known for the Exterminator series. His cold face and tough gaze were his trademarks. But his career didn't flourish. In his later years, he retreated behind the scenes, passing away quietly in 2009. Pam Grier, the beautiful black woman with a commanding presence in Foxy Brown, once dominated the blaxploitation genre. Later, even with a comeback in Jackie Brown, she couldn't escape her own overwhelming shadow. Michael Biehn. With roles in The Terminator and Aliens, Biehn was once expected to be the next action superstar. However, alcoholism and depression derailed his career. Now he lives reclusively, barely remembered. Jackie Chan. Once a global legend with dozens of action films performing his own stunts, admired worldwide. But now, age has slowed him down. He acts less, and the image of the invincible legend is now just a memory. Sam Jones, with wavy blonde hair and a handsome face in Flash Gordon. Sam Jones was once a movie idol. Now, he attends comic conventions, signing photos to make a living, relying on past glory. Fred Williamson, a former NFL player turned action movie star. The Hammer was once the epitome of tough and cool, but over time, his name faded and he disappeared into low-budget B-movies few remember. William Katt, with his signature blonde curls in The Greatest American Hero. William Katt once charmed audiences. Later, he slowly vanished from the big screen, showing up only at small fan events. Grace Jones, her fierce look and Iron Woman energy in Conan the Destroyer made her a unique icon. Still active in the arts, she now lives reclusively, far from mainstream media. Peter Weller, best known as the legendary RoboCop. Peter Weller once dominated the box office, but his fame dimmed, and he eventually moved into teaching and directing documentaries. Kurt Russell. With Escape from New York and Big Trouble in Little China, Kurt Russell was an 80s action icon, though he still appears in major films occasionally. His indestructible hero days are behind him. Tia Carrere. Her exotic beauty made her a sought-after lead in True Lies, but her career quickly declined. Today, she mostly does voice work or plays moms in B-movies. Lou Ferrigno as the live-action Hulk. Lou Ferrigno embodied raw power. Now, he mostly attends Comic-Cons where fans line up to meet a living piece of nostalgia. Don the Dragon Wilson, a kickboxing champion turned action star. He earned the nickname Dragon for his stylish fights. But B-movies couldn't keep him in the spotlight. He now coaches and runs a YouTube channel. Helen Slater, the first live-action Supergirl. She once dazzled with her pure, elegant beauty. But the film's failure stalled her career, and today she's mostly remembered by nostalgic fans. Rutger Hauer. His icy stare in Blade Runner made him chilling, yet sympathetic. After years of supporting roles, He passed away in 2019, leaving behind a legacy of quiet, cold strength. Bo Derek. Once a 1970s sex symbol thanks to 10, she was famed for her wild beauty and braided hair. But time was unforgiving, and her film career virtually ended by her 40s. James Remar. Known for intense roles in The Warriors and 48 Hers, he had a sharp-eyed, bad boy edge. He later faded into supporting roles and guest spots on TV series. Dirk Benedict. As Templeton Faceman Peck in the A-Team, he was every fan's charming rogue. When the spotlight dimmed, he chose reclusion and rejected modern Hollywood as too fake. Henry Silva. With his cold, villainous look, he starred in dozens of 70s, 80s action films. But the era of stone-faced villains passed, and so did the world's memory of him. Sybil Danning. With her bold style and sizzling presence in Howling 2 and various B-action flicks, she was once a video poster queen. But her fame faded fast, and she now lives quietly in Europe. Jan Michael Vincent, a handsome, talented global star thanks to Airwolf. He had it all. But addiction destroyed everything. He died poor and nearly forgotten. Bolo Yeung. Muscular and menacing, Bolo was the classic villain in Bloodsport and Enter the Dragon. After dozens of similar martial arts films, he quietly vanished into obscurity. Carrie Fisher. Princess Leia, with her iconic hair buns, became a permanent part of pop culture. But her real life was chaotic addiction, depression, and a tragic end left fans heartbroken. The action stars of the 70s and 80s weren't just household names. They were icons of beauty, power, and charisma that defined a generation. Do you still remember Chuck Norris's piercing glare, Lou Ferrigno's blazing physique, or Linda Hamilton's fierce allure? These heroes captured our hearts and became the legends of our youth. So, who was your childhood idol? Drop it in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this journey from glory to reality, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell so you won't miss any of our upcoming stories packed with surprises and emotion.